For just the 18th time in its history, the Metro Police Force prepares to bury one of its own.
Well, we lost one of our officers, Officer Eric Mumau. He died saving the life of another person.
Mumau was pulled into the cold Cumberland trying to save a suicidal woman. But out of this great sadness comes inspiration and love.
I wish he was my father.
Just one of the countless lives this policeman touched over his career. Tonight, what happened on the riverbank? Will the woman involved be charged? And the many good deeds of Eric Mumau right now.
Working for you. This is Channel 4 News at 10.
Tonight, a downtown icon lit in blue reflects on the river where a police officer lost his life. Good evening and welcome to Channel 4 News at 10. You can only imagine the desperation when the rescuer suddenly becomes the victim.
Tonight, we are hearing the frantic calls as first responders tried to save Eric Mumau. Channel 4's Heather Horrigan is live from the Madison Police Precinct, where a memorial is growing for their brother in blue. Heather?
All evening, friends and neighbors have headed to the Madison Police Precinct to lay flowers on the officer's patrol car. Tonight, we talked to someone who has lived in that area for decades. She says her community is safer thanks to the work of Madison officers.
They just serve and protect, and they do to the very nth degree till they lose their life over it. And I just want to show my appreciation in just putting a few flowers out. It's just really sad.
Kathy says she was headed somewhere else with those flowers when she decided they belonged on the patrol car.
I had some flowers at home and I was going to take them to my daddy's grave, and I thought, no, they're going here. They were red, white, and blue, and I just think these officers deserve it. They're awesome.
And another sign of respect, tonight Mayor Megan Barry ordered all flags on Metro buildings to half-staff.
If you were just tuning in, you've probably heard the gut-wrenching news. A local police officer was killed in the line of duty. Here are the details as we have them. It all started about 4:15 this morning when a family member of Julie Glisson called police telling them where she was and that she was suicidal. That's when officers Eric Mumau, Nick Diamond, and Trent Craig responded. They saw Julie's car at the bottom of the boat ramp at the edge of the Cumberland River. Around 4:35, she started to drive into the water. A few minutes later, two officers went in to save her. Wearing full gear in frigid water, Mumau went under just after 5 a.m. Police found Julie Glisson safe on the riverbank about 50 yards away. After searching for more than 3 hours, a diver found the missing officer's body less than 100 yards from the boat ramp.
And police are now considering whether to charge the woman at the center of this with a crime. It's not the first time Julie Glisson's been in trouble with police. Channel 4's Tracy Cornett joins us with more on her background.
That's right, Demetria. Police say Julie Glisson was under the influence this morning when her car went into that river. The longtime Madison resident has a lengthy criminal history of drinking and driving, prescription pill abuse, and criminal convictions. Now, her first drunk driving arrest came in 2003. In 2010, she pleaded guilty to assault after fighting with a security guard at a downtown bar. 1 month later, Glisson was arrested after rear-ending another car and driving off. Witnesses told police she appeared drunk. Then in 2015, Glisson was pulled over again for drunk driving and admitted to taking prescription pills. She pleaded guilty to DUI in April and again last March in Rutherford County. Glisson has since been released from the hospital. We are waiting to hear if the 40-year-old Madison resident will be charged with the crime. Tom?
Tracy, thanks. Well, when you're in the news business, you spend a lot of time talking to police, and sometimes friendships are formed. That's exactly what happened with our veteran night shift photojournalist Thomas Davis. After years of ending up on the same calls at the same crime scenes with Officer Mumau, the two became friends. Sadly, this morning, Channel 4's Thomas Davis was one of the last people to see the officer alive. They were having coffee when Eric got the call.
It's just another day and that you get the same calls, and we kind of just said, hey, like I always tell him, be safe, just be safe. And he smiled at me and waved and said, I'll see you later.
Just a few minutes later, Thomas's friend gave his life trying to save another's. Friends say perhaps the only thing Eric loved more than being a police officer was the little girl he raised as his own. On Sunday, he changed his Facebook profile picture to this montage. On it, he wrote, "Forever, my love bug."
As a native of Ohio, Officer Mumau was a lifelong Ohio State Buckeye fan. In high school, he was drum major. Shortly after graduating in 1991, he began his career in law enforcement. It all started at the Westerville Police Department. He was a big part of that community, just as he was here. The Westerville police chief says he isn't surprised by this young man's heroics. And people are showing their support in many ways tonight. Take a look at this, a homemade sign outside a home on Neelings Bend Road in Madison, very close to where the accident occurred. It says, "Rest in peace, Officer Eric. Thank you for your service."
And the Madison Rivergate Area Chamber of Commerce has partnered with Jarvis Signs to share the message yard by yard. The chamber says they love and support the officers who protect their community. If you would like to get a sign, contact the Madison Rivergate Chamber of Commerce. All the money raised will go to the fallen officer's family. Now, we mentioned the Korean Veterans Bridge is painted in blue light tonight in tribute of the fallen officer. So is Nissan Stadium, the Omni Hotel, and the Predators' home, Bridgestone Arena. Tonight, the team tweeted their thoughts and prayers are with Officer Mumau and his loved ones and with all the Metro Police family.
And here at our headquarters, high on Nob Hill, we're going blue as well to honor a man who has left a mark on all of us. A visitation service for the officer will be held Monday at 9 a.m. at Cornerstone Church in Madison. A memorial service will follow starting at noon.
If you would like to send your thoughts and condolences to the officer's family and colleagues, you can email them. That address is on your screen right now. We also have a link on our website, WSMV.com.
Nashville will forever be Smashville. An historic run launched Preds Mania. Tens of thousands of fans partied in the streets. Dozens of catfish slid on the ice. And the world watched as Music City's team made it to the Stanley Cup final. Thanks for joining us for a Channel 4 special, How Smashville Made History. Sit back and relax. For the next hour, we will relive the journey from bottom seed in the NHL playoffs to the final two battling for the Stanley Cup. The Predators barely made it into the 2017 playoffs. Their first opponent, the #1 seed and heavily favored Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah, they'll have to be on top of their game, and so here we go. Preds fans, you know the drill. Buckle in and sit back and expect an all-out battle as the Predators take on Chicago Blackhawks.
But it wasn't the Preds fans who needed to buckle up for the ride. Channel 4's Chris Harris explains how the Nashville Predators began to shock the hockey world. With the Blackhawks in the rear view, the hockey world woke up to realize the Preds were for real. It was the first time an 8 seed had beaten a #1 seed without losing a single game. Many people chucked the win up to a one-series wonder, saying the Preds caught the Blackhawks off guard, or we were just plain lucky. They thought there was no chance we could do it twice. Next up, the gritty, tough, and tested St. Louis Blues. The Preds packed their bags and headed 5 hours north. Chris Harris tells us how they cleared their second hurdle. Well, so much for the Blues. It was after that second round that something started happening in Nashville. Something extraordinary we had never seen before. You couldn't go anywhere, do anything, even have a conversation without mentioning the Nashville Predators. Just a few days later, when the Preds headed to the coast for the Western Conference Final, they were greeted by screaming fans.
Let's go Predators! Let's go Predators! Let's go Predators! Let's go Predators!
Just showing support from home, showing that we're still supporting even though they're all the way across the country.
We're making history and the guys are just pulling in, and it's been a long time coming for us to get this far.
As big as that crowd was, it was only a fraction of the throng that jumped on the Preds bandwagon. We shut down the streets for free pregame concerts and stars galore. Let's rewind a bit. Do you know how Nashville, a place considered a football town, ended up with an NHL hockey team? It all started with our former mayor, Phil Bredesen. He made the push for pro sports in the mid to late 90s and finally landed an NHL expansion team. But even Bredesen admits he was lacking when it came to hockey lingo.
I almost felt like I blew the expansion thing when I was up talking with the league, with the commissioner there, and I said something about the quarters in hockey. And they said, wait, stop. Okay, we're gonna need to teach you some things here.
Mayor Bredesen would soon learn that period was the correct term. And while the Preds were now official, it wasn't all smooth sailing. In 2007, there were rumors the team would be sold to a man in Canada, but fans wouldn't hear of it, showing up in droves to buy tickets to meet attendance requirements. They hit the magic numbers, and then a group of local investors teamed up to keep the franchise in Music City. After all was said and done, Preds fans were naturally a little disappointed on the inside, but on the outside, beaming with pride, 100% behind their guys in gold.
I'm seeing actually quite a bit of smiles and some cheers right now. They love their team. They love the Nashville Predators right now. Just everyone's really excited.
So how do you process all of it? Is Music City forever changed? When we come back, final words with Chris, Rudy, and Joe about the new and improved Nashville, Tennessee. Any team that has ever played a game should be as lucky as this one. True, they didn't win the cup in the end, but they captured the hearts, minds, spirits, and dreams of the city we all call home. We at Channel 4 will always stand with the Predators. Onward to next year.